Hey, well, being able to come back with another live. I said 7:30. I'm a little early. All right, but it's all good. Hope everybody doing good out there. XO, what's going on? You know I gotta bring it. Hope everybody doing well out there. And like I say, today gonna be you can see in the title. And I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes because I kind of jumped out there early today, but I'm gonna go ahead and wait a couple of minutes before we get into it, guys. You seen the title. You know, Mexico getting his wake-up call. And I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes before I actually get into the content of the video. But I can preface it by saying that, you know, so many times, you know, people don't really understand the nature of capitalism. Okay? And, you know, you have to win this voting season here pretty soon. And Bernie Sanders and what's her name? AOC Cortez. Beston, what's up? What's going on, man? Still doing the wall sits? Don't understand the true nature of capitalism, right? And the true nature of capitalism is basically what's really going on now, all right? And like I said, the title says Mexico gets his wake-up call. And it's really funny because, you know, the neighbors to the south of us really don't understand the true nature of being taken advantage of. God, I put a link in my description box of a video that I did prior. I think it was called Trump's border closure. Check that out. I hope I did it. I try to do it. I'm trying to increase my technological skills. So if it's a video in the description box, let me know. And, you know, I'm trying to update my skill set. But like I was saying about Mexico, it's going to be pretty interesting, family, because if you haven't watched the news lately, Trump just dropped a tariff or threatened a tariff on Mexico. And the only reason I'm even talking about this tonight is because how it's going to affect you, how it's going to affect us, you know, our everyday lives, because it's going to affect our everyday lives, because it's also another indication, like in the title says, it's another indication that the stock market is going to crash. Okay. I was going through some information here, and one of the stories that was out there today, I thought it was pretty interesting to see so many people are not even paying attention to this. Hey, Deborah, what's going on? So many people not paying attention to this, but this is a article that was written today. It says, Americans are not prepared for the coming mother of all stock market crashes. All right. And this is pretty much the rhetoric that's been all over. But of course, if you're watching, you know, all you're doing is watching the NBA finals, or, you know, all you're doing is on Facebook or Instagram, or just, you know, watching Atlanta Housewives or all that crap. If you're just watching that, then what's going to happen is you're not going to even see that when you go to the retail stores, when you go to the store to buy your everyday needs, the price is going to be going up, right? Voting is rigged. Everything on the news is negative. But XO, but why? Why is everything on the news negative? It goes back to the video I made the other day about stress. Okay, because see, when you have people stressed out, you know, the immune system breaks down and they can't think logically and rationally. So it's the reason why on the news everything is negative. And family, just remember, we just had graduation, you know, for seniors, and graduation for college grads and high school grads. I mean, we're all the good stories about those young people. Okay, So there's a lot of stories out there we can talk about, but you know, they only want to fabricate these high intensity stress level news stories, you know, to keep you stressed, right? And then of course when you have entertainment, you know, entertainment, okay, it enters your mentality to tame you. That's why it's called entertainment. Entertainmentality. You dig? Okay. And so if that's the case, then you'll miss out on the real information. Like I told you before about the real actors and the fake actors. Family, real quick. Think about this. You know, celebrities, you know, professional athletes, you know, these people that in Leviticus, if you go to the Bible, you go to Leviticus. Like I said, I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person, but I've read that Bible many times because it's the greatest book ever written. But it just amazes me that it says right there in Leviticus that you shouldn't, you know, worship idols. And idolatry is one of the biggest problems, or I shouldn't say the biggest problem, that is the biggest psychological hold that the higher ups, that the government and that the corporations have on the public. Remember, these corporations can give a crap about LeBron James or Stephen Curry or Denzel Washington or Kevin Hart or The Rock. They don't care about those people. They care that those people can sell their products, right? Because how do they know that? Because people idolize these people. Then you got to ask yourself, you know, from professional athletes to so-called celebrities. You know, a lot of you guys, you know, graduate from high school, you know, you're older. When's the last time that you ever seen any of these people do anything for you? You know, and I'm speaking just from a educational standpoint, just in school. I live in H-Town. We have the Rockets. We have the Astros. Astros just won a championship. Okay. I would like to know how many times have any of those guys went to these schools. You know, because a lot of these people wearing their jerseys, a lot of these kids have their shoes. How many times have they went to the schools to just talk to the kids? Just on GP. You know why? They can't. Because they're just glorified scholarship guys. Cast on scholarship, because as soon as they start playing sports, they're no longer viable. See, that tells you right there that it's all a game. If they really cared. See, I've been in education for many, many years. So you can't tell me anything about giving back for this, you know, noticing those that really actually give back. You know, because you always got to pay it forward. And I need to go back to Mr. Smith. When Mr. Smith paid all of those Morehouse College graduates tuition, not tuition, but student loans. Okay, that's paying it forward. Okay, so these cats never ever do anything. And we saw cognitive dissonance is like, it's not until you come out of the matrix that you be like, oh man, I wasted all my time with that. See, now when I'm flipping channels to get to the real news from the real actors, I come across ESPN, or come across the crap like that. I'm like, man, I can't believe I wasted a lot of time listening to guys talk about sports. Okay. And these guys are rich, right? And not one time when they tell you about the things that they're investing in, how they're becoming wealthy and rich. No, because they depend on the masses to be, you know, following idols. Okay, and so I digress. Okay, let me get into yeah, the celebrities are puppets, of course. All right, so back to what I was about the title of the video. It says Mexico received this Trump wake-up call. Now, if you didn't know, Trump just said he's going to pass a tariff on Mexico. Now, what does this mean? And how does this affect you? Well, it affects you because remember, not too long ago, Trump had just negotiated a contract, not a contract, but an agreement with Mexico and Canada called the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, which was going to replace the NAFTA trade agreement, right? So it's basically going to be, that's why if you notice, people down in H-Town, that's why you notice Highway 59 is really now Highway 69, because it's running all the way from Canada to Mexico. Right? And so that was the initial agreement. But if you notice, after the caravan scenario with all the people from Guatemala and Honduras coming through Mexico to come to America. Now, I don't know, maybe you can help me, family. Some of you guys are in different cities, in different states. Have you guys had a huge influx of Honduran and Guatemalan immigrants from the Caribbean? Because I'm here in Texas and I don't remember seeing none of them. Okay, so we know that something either happened at the border or that whole movement just dissipated. But then, of course, Mexico was supposed to have been helping the United States with this. So we thought that was all cool. Well, guess what happened? Trump is going to drop a tariff. He threatened a tariff on Mexico. Now, how does this affect you? Well, this affects you because with the tariff, you got like $328 billion worth of exports that come from Mexico to the United States. Okay, that's goods and services that you guys are buying, right? But if you put a tariff on that merchandise, then you're gonna have to pay more for it, right? Now, how else does it affect you? Well, he also put a tariff or threatened a tariff of 5% of anything coming to America. Now, who does that affect? The car companies, General Motors, Mazda, Volkswagen. Okay, so if you look at the street, look at what's on the street, the General Motor cars, the Volkswagen cars, the Mazda cars. Well, Trump said he's going to drop a tariff on those three major car companies. Okay, and unless they close up their shops in Mexico and come back to America and sell your cars. Now, as a nationalist, okay, who is a main basis, because remember his whole agenda is making America great again. But do you see all the mixed signals? You're putting a tariff, you're causing a tariff war against China. That's going to drop the stock market. Now you don't flip the script and cause a Mexico conflict with a tariff, threatening a tariff with Mexico. Now you have all these car companies that their stocks are going to drop, that their profits are going to drop because there's what? Let's see here. I wrote it down, family. It tripped me out. $52 billion, okay, in vehicles come to America from Mexico every year. $52 billion in vehicles. $32 billion in auto parts. And so when you guys are working on your own cars and you go into AutoZone and what is that? The other auto parts stores that you go to. Well, when you go in there now, those prices are going to be higher. So you see how that affects you? Okay? When you go try to buy a car, the price is going to be higher. You know what I'm saying? And so the people that get hurt the most by this are the consumers. Okay? The so-called Americans. Okay? Because you're talking about Trump dropping a tariff on Mexico where if they don't, and guess why he's dropping a tariff? It's Mexico's responsibility to stop, eliminate, or decrease the number of immigrants coming over to America from Central America. Now, he didn't say Mexican immigrants. He said Central American immigrants. Ghost, what's up? Texas, Alabama. Let me see. Debt-based economy, no doubt. I want to address what Texas, Alabama just said. He just said, we have more power than we think. You know what? They bank on us not using that power. Okay? I'm going to give you a quick example. IHOP. Last year, they were talking about changing their name to IHOP, International House of Burgers. Right? People tripped on that. The profits, they tripped on that. All of a sudden now, they just said, oh, no. We're going to change it back to IHOP starting June the 3rd. So even though that may be like some type of ploy, some type of advertising ploy, but nonetheless, even IHOP know the power of people. Okay? And so what I mean by the power of people, family, they teach you this in school. I was a history teacher. One of the 7 principles of government is popular sovereignty. That's people power. Okay, but see, we too quick to let the government utilize their federalism. Okay, balance, separation of powers, Okay, checks and balances, but are they really doing that? No. I mean, how is this separation of powers and checks and balances when Trump unilaterally could say we're gonna drop a tariff on China, we're gonna drop a tariff on Mexico? Do you see how the seven principles of a government don't really apply to us, and that's individuals? You have to use, and it's there for us, popular sovereignty. That's one of the seven principles of government. They teach you that in middle school. But then when you grow up and get into the notion of the stress, okay, becoming more of a consumer and just breaking off your chains for all of this stuff, you forget the real information. Okay. Angeline, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining the garden. Nephew, I see you. George Jackson, how you doing? Miller's Perspective, I see you. All we have to do is stop acquiring debt. Texas, Alabama, no doubt, but we have to make sure that we understand, just like they understand, there's good debt and bad debt. See, acquiring debt from a consumer standpoint is going to buy something you know you can't afford. Paying car notes, okay? Getting loans to pay bills. That's bad debt, okay? Good debt would be something, like I said in previous videos, where you know, okay, hey, there's a great investment opportunity there that you've done the research on, and you know about it, then you go get a loan for an investment opportunity. Okay, see, because now that investment opportunity not only is going to increase that money, make that money make money, but then of course, if you're paying the note off, you're increasing your credit. Because remember, like I say, if your credit ain't right, your money ain't right. So you got to make sure your credit is tight. Okay. Yes. Well, Joyce, I wouldn't say he's deliberately trying to destroy the country. Remember, this is all in the game. The economy that is based on a capitalistic notion is cyclical. It has to go up. It has to come down. It has to go up. Remember, family, this is the longest bull market we've had. Okay? If you do the research, you'll see that this happened in 1987, 2000, 2008. And I'll tell you this, like these stocks that are going to be affected by these tariffs, family, these are going to affect your money. And what I say how it's going to affect your money is if Mexico, okay, if there's going to be a 25% tariff on Mexico by October 1st, because remember, how is Mexico going to stop illegal immigrants from coming to this country? Think about this. Trump's whole notion of stopping illegal immigration was what? To build a wall. You did? When the wall, or when Congress said, no, we're not going to give you money for the wall, then what did Trump do? He shut down the government. Federal workers were outside with signs up saying, we want to work. Instead of utilizing Texas, Alabama, the popular sovereignty, seven principles of government. Instead of saying we want to work, they should have utilized popular sovereignty. But see, when you're in a notion, when you know that most of the population doesn't have the resources to stay for 3 months or 6 months or a year, then you know that they're not going to buck the system. So you can say, I'm going to shut the government down. Okay? And have workers out there not working. Or you can say, I'm going to cut food stamps. I'm going to cut housing. And nothing happens. Okay? And so now what you can do? Okay, you don't want to give me money for the wall? I'm going to place a tariff on Mexico, and I'm going to blame Mexico. It says Mexico's fault for letting immigrants come to this country when it's supposed to be the United States' responsibility for sustaining some type of immigration system, right? I digress. Hey, so yes, the situation in Virginia Beach. Yes, I heard about that today. My heart goes out to the people that were killed out there. Like I said, I watched a little bit on television, but what it trips me out is why the camera in the helicopter is just focused on all the cops just standing there by themselves, doing nothing. I mean, show us You know, I mean, because you always say, you know, I want to let you know in advance that this may not be appropriate for most people or most. Okay, well, show us something more than just cops standing around, like 20 or 30 cops just standing there. 11 people were killed, 6 people injured, and of course, you said the suspect was killed. No name of the suspect, no picture of the suspect. Just, you know, come on. Okay. JE, no doubt, tariffs are passed on to consumers. Of course. Angeline, I just sold my house. No doubt, no doubt. T, what's up? Turtle, what's up? Oh, you two Bertle now? I thought you was True Turtle. You two Bertle? There you go. What's up, D? Minnesota in the house. Yeah. T, they just showed the cops on the news, huh? Okay. And so that's why I say those are diversions. Okay. You want to show that, but then you're going to tell us there's people getting shot in Chicago every day? We never hear about that. Why is it on the news? But when there's a mass shooting, but you say there's mass shootings in Chicago every day. See, that's diversions. Okay. And so when I get back to this particular information about Mexico and the tariff that Trump said he's going to drop on Mexico, if they don't stop immigration, what that tells you, there's no way they can stop immigration. I mean, that's the United States' responsibility. So what happens? He drops the 25% tariff on Mexico. Okay. 30% of the auto industry comes from Mexico. 30% of the auto industry comes from Mexico. So the auto industry is going to crash. Okay. The tech sector is going to crash because of the Huawei conflict with China. So all the semiconductor companies, Intel, AMD, oh my God, CY, so many of the big companies here that sell those semiconductor chips, Apple, AT&T, that these companies that sell software, they're going to be hurting. Okay, and so that actually is going to precipitate the crash. And that's why I always say, pay yourself first. This is a great opportunity. But like I say, who's that told me that? JE, the tariffs are passed out to the American consumers because remember, the companies are still having money. The prices are going to go up. And then what's going to end up happening? The only way that they can try to stop this particular impending crash, which is going to happen, the only way they're going to stop it is by 2 measures. Trump texting, or not texting, but tweeting something, because remember, he tweeted that he was going to drop this tariff on Mexico. He tweeted that, okay? Or the Federal Reserve comes in and do what they call QE, quantitative easing. And what that does, they will come in and they will lower interest rates, okay? And so when you lower interest rates, that's going to, give the investors confidence. That's going to give banks confidence. That's going to give consumers confidence because they'll see that the interest rates have come down, and that way more people can invest in the bond market. More people can kind of get more money from interest rates being lowered. But remember, the rich people benefit from that too. These corporations benefit from that too, right? So that's not going to help. It's going to happen. The crash is going to happen, okay? So please, pay yourself first, and don't feel sorry for the auto industry. Okay, when because believe me, when it's times like this is not the time to be making purchases that you can't afford. All right, if you can't afford to have $1,000 emergency right now, then I wouldn't be making major purchases. You did, because like I say, this is going to affect even those who have a 401k. You maxing out your 401k, right? Well, these particular tariffs are going to affect your 401k. You may ask, how is it going to affect it? Because remember, your 401k is basically monies that you give into these particular mutual fund companies, that they take that money and then they invest it in mutual funds, which are bundles of stocks. Okay, they may say, hey, we're gonna put all your money in growth fund, which they may pick particular stocks that they feel are going to grow. But if the market crashes, then those companies are not going to grow, because the people that own stocks in those companies, not mutual funds, but equities, then they're going to sell. They're going to sell off. And when they sell off, that means the stock market is going to crash. The price of the stock is going to crash. The amount of your 401 is going to shrink as well. Because remember, these mutual fund companies, they're not going to say, oh, you lost 20% of your portfolio, we're going to get that back to you. No, that's your money you lost. And that's why it's your responsibility to read those statements, find out what's going on a global market, because it not only affects you from an inflationary standpoint, where prices are going to go up, it's going to also affect you, you know, if you have a 401k. Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, it can be boring, but it's imperative. Okay, Texas, Alabama, boy. He asked me a question. He said, in my opinion, do I think the Federal Reserve is one of the worst things that ever happened to this country from a financial perspective? Great question. Of course. See, we want to call it the Federal Reserve, when actuality it's a central bank. It's not even a part of the United States. All right? The central bank, which was started by 6 guys back in 1912, they had a meeting, and you can look this up. They had a meeting in Jekyll Island, and they came up with the notion of calling it the Federal Reserve Plan, because if they called it something else, remember I told you in past videos, Americans wouldn't have fell for it, because America was a lot more savvy back then, because more Americans invested back then. See, now you have a country of people that's dependent on the government, so they really don't care. When you don't have a clear understanding of money and fiscal policy, then you just waiting on either to get paid from your employer or get your check from the government. That's it. I mean, think about it. The Social Security Administration already said that Social Security may not be there in 13, 14 years. And people still working for companies that when you get your check, they say the Social Security tax comes out every check. You would think that when they tell you Social Security is not going to be there, then you will automatically stop working. I mean, you know, you would show some power. Okay, so in my opinion, the Federal Reserve is not just the biggest scam that ever happened. It continues to be the biggest scam. Why do you think they have a central bank in every major country? Look what's happening in Venezuela right now. It's a central bank in Venezuela. And if you do your research, every country right now that don't have a central bank, that the United States have interest in, we go get it. Do your research. Okay? Yeah, Kelly. Because because if you're not, I'm telling you, your pension, your 401ks, your Social Security, man, right now, I mean, if you getting that, man, that's what's up. Because right now, this market is going to crash soon. All right, and like I say, the only thing that's going to keep it from actually if Trump already told you about October that he's going to drop a 25% tariff or tax on Mexico, then that tells you right there, don't try to go buy a car, especially not a GM or a Mazda or a Volkswagen. Okay, and don't go try to buy no Jordans, because China and all that stuff come from China. So these prices are going to go up. And my youngsters, pay yourself first. Okay. Yeah, Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. All of it is. Listen, anytime you contribute your money to a particular tax, or they tell you, hey, this is we putting this back for you, and you when you want it, that's a Ponzi scheme. 401ks. Why are you penalizing me for getting my money? It's an emergency. Yeah, Ponzi scheme. You did, but you have to be able to use the information, because like anything, the people that wrote the laws and created this financial system also created loopholes in the financial system to be, wealthy. That's the only way that this system works. Think about our legal system. There's a book, a precedent for every crime committed. Okay? They still talk about Roe versus Wade. Where should you put your money if you pay yourself first? Honestly, right now, cash, CDs, things that are liquid, money markets, okay? But right now, cash, CDs, treasuries. Because see, even treasuries right now, I mean, it's gonna give you more than what your bank gonna give you. If I'm sitting on $2,000, I'm not gonna have $2,000 to sit in the bank. If I know I'm not gonna use it anytime soon, I'm gonna put that in a treasury note or a treasury bill. Because I know that treasury note and treasury bill gonna give me at least 1.5 or 2%. Just sitting in the bank, you're gonna be losing it. Thank you, Kevin. No doubt, Miller's perspective, no doubt. So, Deborah, that's one of the things I would, definitely recommend. Like I said, for entertainment purposes only, but just think of it logically. Please check your bank and your credit union to find out what percentage that they give you on your interest rates on your savings account. Okay. Discover gives. Okay. There you go, Brandon. Brandon getting 2%, 2.1%. See, we have the power to make sure we're letting our money make money. Because remember, there's no such thing as money. It's only your energy. So why have your energy be reduced by somebody pushing numbers in the system? Because it's all algorithmic. Okay? So don't get this negative notion that, man, I don't know, I don't trust that. No. They're going to give you what they tell you they're going to give you based on your research. They bank on your ignorance. They bank on your ignorance. Okay? So, family, I got 32 minutes in the box in the garden. About to get out of here. I just wanted to come back and give you some information on that and let you know exactly how this tariff, how Mexico tariff is going to kill you. Not literally speaking, but it will kill your portfolio. It will kill your savings account. Okay? Online banking, no doubt. No doubt, Brandon. Okay? So let me just recap real quick before I get out of here. The tariffs with Mexico and China, okay, will affect you. It will affect your checking account and your savings account and your everyday monies because of inflation, because the prices are going to rise. Okay. Now, how does that benefit you? Well, if you're saving yourself first, if you're paying yourself first, and you have monies that's in a bank account or savings account, make sure don't get caught up with just, oh no, I just want to keep my money right here. No, move your money around to where it's going to grow. Okay, because when the market crashes, and stay on top of the market's information, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, okay, all three of them was red today. Okay, and so what that tells you is that this volatility, and I just read a article at the beginning of the live about how Americans are not prepared for the coming mother of all stock market crashes. See, they thought 2008 was bad. No, they thought 1987 was bad. No, because this is the longest bull market. And the only reason I'm tripping like this because of the opportunity, family. We should not be the only ones going through these recessions and these market crashes and not benefiting from them. Okay? And going through them like it's nothing. Like it doesn't affect us, because it should affect us in two ways. Which it affects us negatively because we're so financially illiterate about inflation and about how the fiscal system works that we'll go and pay $3 for something that we only paid $2 for the year before and not understand why. You did? So it's important. And that's how you gain wealth. And remember, your health is your wealth. Okay? So alleviating stress, understanding this stuff from a realistic standpoint, it's easy. They tell you what you want to know. Remember, you have your real actors and you have your fake actors. Okay. Don't give those fake actors your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. And I'm just glad and happy that you guys gave me time tonight. And it was I think it was a pretty good live tonight, because some of you guys that have 401ks and whatnot, make sure you go and look into that information and find out what your mutual funds are. All right. Well, family, thank you for joining me tonight. Like I say, Mexico, I don't know how they're going to stop Central American immigrants from coming to this country when it's supposed to be United States responsibility. And if so, it just amazes me. Okay. But we'll see how it goes. Well, family, thank you for joining me tonight. And in the meantime, between time, may the Most High Saudi bring you joy. And thank you, Letitia, for joining me. And I'm 95,000, family.